Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of News for Normies, where I bring you the top news from the week. If you like what I do here, hit that like button, share, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below. And boy, is this going to be an interesting week. So, without getting, lost in any more weeds, here we go. So, as many of you have probably heard, Joe Biden's last day as president, depending on who you ask, his last day in office was Monday, January 20th, and merely minutes before Donald Trump was sworn in, old Sleepy Joe pardoned Dr. Anthony Fauci, Mark Milley, and the entire Biden family, as well as the whole J6 committee. Now, that's interesting because none of these people were officially charged with crimes in a court of law. So why would they need pardons? Definitely makes you think a little bit there. Also, from my understanding, issuing pardons like this may backfire on these people, because if they accept the pardon, it's kind of a soft admission that they committed a crime, and if they are called before Congress to testify about the thing that they were pardoned for, their Fifth Amendment rights are essentially waived. And if they lie before Congress or try to obfuscate the truth in any way possible, they can be hit with jail time. So, who knows what's going to happen there? Personally, I think Anthony Fauci is guilty of a lot, because if you look in the past, during the AIDS crisis in the 80s, he was behind a lot of the stuff that killed a lot of people that were being treated for AIDS with the AZT medication. And obviously, we know that during the COVID pandemic, the COVID shots didn't really work as well as some people had claimed they did. Now I'm not a doctor. Obviously, follow your doctor's guidance on medical issues like that. But I am one of the people that never got one of the COVID shots, and I don't regret it. So, yeah. Strange that these people got pardons when they hadn't been charged with any kind of a crime in a court of law. So, with that being said, Donald Trump was inaugurated as 47th President of the United States, making him the second president in American history to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. If you don't know what that means, it means he was president for 1 term, somebody else took over, and then he's back in office again. So, in this case, it went from Trump to Biden, then back to Trump. The other president that had this happen to them was Grover Cleveland in the late 1800s. Trump immediately signed a ton of executive orders, one of them being to secure the southern border and shut down points of entry that migrant caravans were using to illegally cross into the United States. He also signed pardons for nonviolent J6 protesters, pardons for pro-life protesters who have been in prison for way too long, many of them for simply praying outside of abortion clinics and stuff, not even getting in anybody's faces, just standing outside praying. And he pardoned a man by the name of Ross Ulbricht, keeping his promise to the Libertarian Party when he was still campaigning. If you're not sure of who Ross Ulbricht is, he founded an online marketplace back in, I think it was 2011. Should have put that in my notes. But anyway, it was over 10 years ago. He founded this online marketplace called the Silk Road that predominantly used Bitcoin and other forms of early cryptocurrency to use as currency to trade on that online marketplace. The reason he got, two life sentences and an additional 40 years, at least according to the court case that happened was because people were using this online marketplace to like hire hitmen and stuff and buy illicit drugs. Um, However, the bigger picture here, which I mean, hold on, let me pause there. Those things are bad. Okay, don't hire hitmen. Um, I think most illicit drugs, most probably bad. You know, things like heroin, meth, those things are really bad. But the bigger picture here is that he created a marketplace where people could buy and sell goods and services without the United States getting any tax revenue off of it. So when Uncle Sam doesn't get his cut, he gets really pissed about that, and people pay the price. Um, so that's the bigger picture there. Let's see. I got lost in my notes here. Oh, okay, cool. So on top of that, Donald Trump revoked security detail for John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, and Anthony Fauci, as well as revoking security clearance for the 51 former intelligence agents who signed a letter during Trump's first term in office saying that he was basically unfit for office. That was during the time when the likes of Facebook and Twitter were censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story. So I'm glad that's a start for those 51 people. I think they should probably be charged with sedition for trying to undermine the President of the United States like that, but I'm just a dude talking on the internet. Let's see. I got a lot of news about Trump in just this first week. Trump also banned any other flag from being flown at federal government buildings and other government-owned buildings such as embassies across the globe other than the American flag. So the only flag being flown at federal buildings that the United States controls is the American flag. So that means that the LGBT pride flags, BLM flags, and other flags like that are no longer allowed. In the same vein, Trump also scrapped all DEI bullshit from within the federal government, although some agencies are trying to rebrand their DEI stuff. So that might be a bit of a challenge, but, you know, we're only a week into Trump's presidency. We'll see how that goes. As he promised, Trump also officially declassified files on the JFK, RFK, and MLK assassinations, paused all foreign aid for 90 days to every country except Israel and Egypt, and finally, deportations of illegal aliens has already begun, starting with violent criminals who've been in the United States for way too long. So, man, Trump has just been on a roll for the first 5 days he's been in office, and it doesn't seem like he's going to stop there. So, on the note of, deportations, I must quote Ice Cube from the movie Friday, in which he says, "Bye, Felicia." Also, I must quote Futurama when I say, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, because I don't want ass print on my door." Now, I can already tell that lefties are crying about this, saying, "Oh, it's inhumane to split up families, da-da-da-da-da." Well, Tom Homan said it best. If somebody is arrested for DUI, we don't take their child to prison with them. So, just send all the families back. Also, to anyone crying about this, don't forget that under the Clinton administration, they went through with some deportations as well, which produced this very famous picture where, law enforcement were going into a house with what I'm assuming were automatic MP5 submachine guns to deport people who had been here illegally. So I'm going to pop that picture up right here for you. All right. So, speaking of lefties crying about stuff on the internet, People, and mostly lefties on X, are freaking out about Elon Musk at Trump's inauguration, claiming he did a Nazi salute, even though when you watch the whole video, he says to the crowd, my heart goes out to everyone who had supported the Trump team to get him back into office. Now, I must say, it certainly looked bad in the moment. Definitely could have, thought that one through a little bit more, or used his other hand. But let's also not forget that Elon Musk is autistic, probably not used to speaking in front of thousands of people like that, and especially at like an arena-sized event where there are thousands of people there, and it's a very emotionally charged moment. So to that, I also say it's kind of funny how anybody on the right is instantly labeled a Nazi when they wave to a crowd using their right hand, but the likes of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and even French President Emmanuel Macron do the same thing. They're just waving to a crowd, So here's a little meme for your enjoyment as well, should you choose to, do so. Alright. So, I'm sure people have been talking about this too. After the inauguration, there was the National Prayer Service that took place, and Bishop Marion Edgar Bude, I think is how you say it, don't care if I'm mispronouncing it, delivered a sermon that basically pandered to the Democrat Party and insisted that Trump not deport illegal aliens, as well as stating there are, quote, trans and LGBT kids among Republican, Democrat, and independent families, end quote. So, there's a lot wrong with this message, and would probably take a full, separate video for me to fully break down. But the short version of it here is, one, the Bible states that women should not be in any kind of church leadership positions over men. So if you're the bishop of a church, you're obviously in a leadership position over men because you're a bishop of the whole church. Two, trans kids don't exist. They may, when kids are teenagers, they may have, they may think they are, but, we all know that the human brain doesn't fully form until you're like 25. So, insisting that trans kids exist, it's just, it's asinine to me. And if parents go through with, gender affirming care, it's child abuse. And three, I think that the American church as a whole needs to grow a pair and denounce people like this. If you are a Christian watching this and your pastor is not talking about this tomorrow, you need to question them why. And I know I've gone hard on the American church in the past. I think I did a video that I titled, Problem with the American Church or something. Maybe I need to do a part 2. I've kind of been thinking about that for a while, but, this is news for Normies, so I'm not going to get into the weeds on that one. Rounding off here, polls are now showing that many Americans can't name a single accomplishment that Biden had during his term, which is not shocking to me because I think anyone that has common sense in their skull can recognize that. Like I talked about last week, just the price of eggs alone has more than doubled in just the last 4 years. In fact, as I record this, January 25th, my wife and I went to the store, and eggs were $4.67 a dozen. So that's like 3 times more than what it was in January of 21 when Biden first took office. Man, anybody that still claims that Biden was a good president is either delusional or just stupid. Also, some good news here. Reports are showing that Gen Z kids are rebelling against their parents by becoming more conservative. This gives me great hope for the future because it shows that, these kids are kind of thinking for themselves, and they see the craziness going on, and they're like, I don't want that. So, if there are any Gen Z kids out there watching this, keep it up and don't waver in your principles. Finally, ending on some more good news here. Anytime I get the chance to rag on CNN, I'm going to do it, and this is a perfect time to do so. CNN is moving Jim Acosta to a midnight slot, as well as letting go a massive number of employees since they have just been hemorrhaging money and views over the last couple years. Between 2021 and 2023 alone, the network lost about $400 million. You'd think that after like the first $100 million, they would have corrected course. Some might say 50 million, but maybe they just had a bad month or so. But after the first 100 million, like that is a lot of money. So yeah, I love to see CNN just keep tanking like that, and maybe one day they'll just close their doors forever, and we won't ever have to hear about them again. Now, don't think that I have any love for Fox News either, because they spin shit just as bad as CNN. But I guess people that watch Fox are just more dedicated viewers or something. Also, Target has announced that they are scrapping all of their DEI programs too, in, I guess, response to Trump becoming president again, but I don't know. It seems like a cop-out to me. I've talked about this before. Other companies have done this, such as like John Deere, I think it was Tractor Supply that did, and Jack Daniels. So if you're a fan of whiskey and you just want a cheap bottle to keep on hand, go get you some Jack Daniels American Honey. But to sum this all up, I heard a wise man once say, "Go woke, go broke." And that's all I got today. That's a very quick one. Rattled off a bunch of stuff about Trump. Hope to see more of this kind of stuff keep going, and I'll just report back next week. So if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, share it with your friends, your family, coworkers, whoever, and let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think Trump might do next? So to that, I say thank you for watching. It is greatly appreciated, and I will see you all next time.